Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to unwrap corporate secrets, and boy do we have a juicy one today. Prepare yourselves because we're diving into some spicy executive compensation and employment changes. This is a big deal because it is not just your everyday update. FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated, or FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated as they are known now, has filed a current report that tells us about some pretty significant moves happening behind the scenes with their top leaders. The report is dated the 30th of October 2025, and it is all about major executive agreements and bonuses. Think of it as the company's way of saying, thanks for sticking around and here is a little something extra to its key players. So what exactly is going on with FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated? Well, it seems like they're trying to lock down their leadership team with some new employment agreements and some nice fat retention bonuses. First up are the updated employment agreements for their president and chief executive officer, Josh Resnick, and their chief financial officer and senior vice president of corporate development, John Slabor. These aren't small changes. They've modified how benefits are calculated if these executives are terminated unexpectedly. They've also tweaked what counts as good reason for them to leave and clarified how their target bonuses are figured out. These changes are important because they affect what happens if these very important people leave the company, especially if it is not on their own terms. It looks like FiscalNote is trying to create more certainty and perhaps incentivize loyalty by adjusting the terms regarding severance and bonus payouts. It is like putting more cushions on the executive chairs just in case. But that is not all. To make sure these top executives stay put and continue to drive the company forward, FiscalNote has also approved some one-time cash retention awards. Josh Resnick, the CEO, is getting a very nice $500,000 retention award, and John Slabor, the CFO, is receiving a $300,000 award. Now, these are not just handing out cash freely. These retention awards are tied to continued employment for a significant period, specifically 48 months, which is 4 years. However, the agreements also include clauses for accelerated payment in certain situations, which likely means if there is a change in control of the company or other specific events, these executives could get their bonuses sooner. This is a common strategy to ensure key people are incentivized to stay through uncertain times or major corporate transitions. Adding another layer to this, FiscalNote has also updated its change in control severance plan. This plan generally provides severance pay to executives if their job is impacted by a merger or acquisition. However, a really interesting point here is that unlike the old plan, none of the principal executive officers, financial officers, or named executive officers will participate in this new amended and restated plan. This sounds like they are moving away from automatic severance for these top roles in the event of a takeover, shifting the focus perhaps to the individual employment agreements and retention awards we just discussed. It could mean that future compensation in a takeover scenario might be handled more on a case-by-case basis as detailed in their personal contracts. So what does this all mean? FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated is clearly making a concerted effort to retain its top leadership. They're not just relying on salary and standard benefits, they're using significant financial incentives like these retention awards and carefully crafted employment agreements to keep their key executives on board. This suggests that the company might be at a critical juncture, perhaps planning for future growth, facing competitive pressures, or even contemplating strategic moves that require experienced leadership, looking at the broader picture. These kinds of compensation adjustments are a big signal. When a company invests heavily in retaining its top brass, it often signals confidence from the board in the current leadership's ability to navigate the company's future. For investors, it means these individuals are deemed too valuable to risk losing. However, it also means a significant payout if things go according to plan or if certain trigger events occur. It is a high-stakes game of retention, where the company is betting on its leaders to deliver long-term value. Now, looking at these results more broadly, FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated appears to be prioritizing stability and continuity at the executive level. The strength of this strategy lies in keeping experienced leadership in place during potentially transformative periods. However, a notable risk is the substantial financial commitment these retention awards represent, especially if business performance does not meet expectations, or if the certain scenarios for accelerated payment are triggered without a corresponding positive event for the company. So, to wrap up, FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated is doubling down on its executive team, offering substantial incentives to ensure their continued service. This indicates a company that values its leadership and is likely preparing for significant developments down the line. Whether this strategy pays off will depend on the company's execution and ability to navigate future challenges. Alright, That is our breakdown of FiscalNote Holdings Incorporated's latest filing. What is your take on these executive retention strategies and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think it is a smart move or an expensive gamble? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more real-time discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.